I had your medical records reviewed and my medical expert comes back and says, listen, you don't have a valid basis for a case. I call you up and tell you that you don't have a valid basis for a case. And you know what you say? You say, I'm telling you, you're wrong. I disagree with your expert. I want another expert. You want to know what this is all about? Come join me as I share with you this great information. Hi, I'm Gerry Oginski. I'm a New York medical malpractice and personal injury attorney. You now want to go ahead and bring a lawsuit against your careless doctor and obtain money as a form of compensation for all the losses and harms and damages that you incurred because of this doctor's carelessness. But in order to do that, you have to go to an attorney who then gathers all of your medical records and has a medical expert, a qualified medical expert, review your records to determine if you have a valid case. Now, what actually constitutes a valid case? Our medical expert has to determine that your doctor, your treating doctor, violated the basic standards of medical care, and that those violations, that wrongdoing, was a cause of your injury. Now, those are three things that we have to show that we are more likely right than wrong that happened. If we are unable to show any one of those things, we call them liability, causation, and damages. If we are unable to show any one of those things, guess what? Then we can't go forward with your potential case. So our expert has to confirm, yes, there was a deviation or a violation from the standard of care. There has to be a link between the doctor's carelessness and your injuries that you suffered. And your injuries have to be significant and or permanent. All three of those things have to be present and confirmed by our expert in order to proceed forward with a valid case. All right, so now we get all of your medical records. It takes months and months to gather all of your records. We then send off all of your records to a medical expert, and then it takes him months to evaluate and go through each and every page of your record. And in addition, I have to go through each and every page of your medical record to confirm whatever it is that my expert is going to discuss with me. So I have to know the record as well as my own expert. And now, finally, my expert calls me up and we have a discussion about the details of your particular case. And you know what he tells me? He says, listen, I searched high and wide. I went through every single page of this patient's record, and I can't find anywhere that this doctor violated the basic standards of medical care. Nowhere. And you know what I have to do in that instance? I have to call you up and tell you, okay, Mr. Jones, I spoke with my expert. He reviewed every single document, every single record, and he does not believe that your doctor violated the basic standards of care. So, regardless of what injury you have, regardless of how long you were in the hospital, regardless of what additional medical care and treatment you will need, without being able to prove liability, without being able to show that we are slightly more likely right than wrong, that what you are claiming is true, then there is no possible way we can actually go forward and start a lawsuit on your behalf. And you are outraged. You are furious. How dare that expert? He clearly didn't know what the heck he was doing. So I turn around and say, you know what? Let me ask you a question. How long have you been practicing medicine? How many years have you been in school to practice medicine? Are you licensed to practice medicine in the state of New York? Are you board certified in this particular field of medicine? How many years of practice have you been handling these types of cases? Are you well known? Are you well published in this field of medicine? Our expert is. And if you are not any of those things, and if you answered no to any of those questions, how are you qualified to answer the question about whether or not you actually have a valid case? And there's usually no response to that. They get very defensive. The injured victim gets very upset. They know that they weren't really that badly injured or didn't have a real problem when they walked into the hospital, but now they're in a wheelchair and they needed 5 corrective surgeries. They know there must have been a problem by the doctor. Okay, but our expert says, sorry, there's nothing that was done wrong here. These are known complications. These are risks of the procedure. I'm sorry. So what are your options? Well, you have quite a few. Either we can go ahead and try and obtain another medical expert to review your records, in which case the question becomes, okay, who's going to pay for that? Are you, the injured victim, going to pay for that out of your own pocket? Or are we going to take the risk again and pay for another expert out of our own pocket? Another option will be for you to simply go to another attorney, gather all your records again or obtain them from us since we've already gotten your records, and then submit those records to another expert to see if, in fact, the second expert confirms your belief that something was done wrong. If he does, terrific. Then you go forward with that expert and with that attorney. Otherwise, you'll have to go to another attorney, add another one, to see if you can get another expert who actually confirms your belief that something was in fact done wrong, causing you harm and injury. So why do I share this information with you? I share it with you because this happens from time to time, where now our expert turns around and says, I'm sorry, there's no case here. You, the injured patient, turns around and says, no, I'm telling you, there's something here. I know that something was done wrong. Otherwise, I wouldn't have all these problems. In which case, now we have a bit of a dispute. And the dispute is between a qualified medical expert and you, the injured patient. And we don't get into arguments about it, but I simply point out that, hey, we have to rely on our medical expert in order to tell us whether or not you have a valid case. You know, I realize you're likely watching this because you wanted to see the beautiful scenery today here in Great Neck. No, I realize you're watching this because you likely have questions or concerns about your own matter. Well, if your matter happened here in New York and you have not yet started a lawsuit and are thinking of doing so and still have questions that need to be answered, what I invite you to do is pick up the phone and call me. You know, I answer questions like yours every single day, and I'd love to chat with you. You can reach me at 516-487-8207 or by email at Gerry, Gerry, at Oginski-law.com. That's it for today's video. I'm Gerry Oginski. Have a fantastic day.